Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for attending our sessions. We have Sarah Farga, who is the social
Hi.
media manager and Latin America ambassador at Bright Gambit, with her topic 5 oopsies you're making while marketing your game. All right, floor is yours, Sarah.
Thank you so much. So, hello everyone. This is 5 marketing mistakes you're making with your indie game. However, we really like the name 5 oopsies. Because yeah, some of these are like very small mistakes that can change a lot of things. So let's call it oopsies. So I'm very happy to be here. And yes, first of all, I'm going to be presenting myself. So my name is Sara Ibanez Farga. I'm Spanish Mexican, so that's why the name is a little bit weird there. But I'm basically the social media manager and Latin American ambassador of Bright Gambit. And my background is very interesting. I actually study animation and game design. However, I was always very interested in everything content related creation and marketing, and video games have always been my life. So, yeah, I had the opportunity to join Bright Gambit for a while now. And there's a lot of stuff I have learned along the way that I will be very happy to share with all of you. So, who is Bright Gambit, the company that I work with? Basically, Bright Gambit is an indie supportive initiative aimed to help video game developers. And basically, what this means is that we are a company that helps indie game developers with whatever needs they have. Either it can be funding, marketing, contacts, support, everything related to that. Because as we all know here, making a game is hard, but like marketing it and putting it out there, it's a whole different story. That if you don't know what you're doing and you're like alone in this, it's always good to have like a reference or some support. So that's what Bright Gambit is here for. And yeah, some these are like the services that I mentioned. Like I said, some project funding, market support, and connections. All of that with each game and each developer, we focus on having like a very transparent terms in the sense of, okay, what do you need? Every deal is different, every developer and every game is different, so it always depends what they want and what is needed. And I wanted to share here the portfolio, not only to introduce you to these amazing games that we have here, but also because these games, I will be using them as examples with my trajectory here in Bright Gambit and some examples that I have seen, like good things I have done, some mistakes I have done, some oopsies. I wanted to use some of these games as examples because I was behind some of the marketing of them. So the first one is Lonesome Village and a Tiny Sticker Tale. Lonesome Village is the first game I was actually almost full behind the whole marketing process. So it's the one that I have such tons of stories that I'm going to tell you about. Really amazing. If you have not checked it out, you should. And their little brother called A Tiny Sticker Tale that is also coming next week on October 4th. I have been also being a little part of it, being the voice in the trailer and doing some streams and stuff. So yeah, you're going to see some of it. Grun is also a game about a point and click adventure about traveling to a foreseen place, a strange place. As you can see, as the games that I'm showing, they're all very different. So Brad Gambit will like to support very different kind of games. And these are just some examples. Dolly is a first-person exploration puzzle-solving adventure, very gorgeous. You will love it. Orten Was the Case, a game that is upcoming next is also created by a Swedish developer called Oscar. If you know the game It Takes Two, Oscar is the one that was the lead animator of that game, the game of the year. So working with him has been amazing. So if you want to play something really great, and also we have like very cool examples about Orten Was the Case, I'm going to share with you. Sanya, a 2D narrative adventure game about childhood memories, super cute, super wholesome. Just was in Tokyo Game Show, such pride. It's coming next year. And Super Adventure Hand, this game came out just last week. Our adoration, like I was behind the whole marketing process, and there's a lot of things I can tell you about this game. How about when you have a game about a hand, like how can you market this game? How can you promote it? Where's your public? What can you do? And we have like many such fun examples about that I'm going to be talking about. So yeah, but let's start with top 5 marketing mistakes or 5 marketing oopsies you're making with your indie game and how to avoid them. Because I don't want to just give you problems, I want to give you solutions. So if I just sit here and I'm just like, okay, these are 5 problems you have, it's not working. I need to tell you how we can also make it work in my experience, of course. So this is the first marketing mistake: thinking marketing starts midway. So what do I mean by this? Basically, when you have a game, you have pre-production, the production of the game, and the post-launch. You know, when the game is already out there and you have to market it, and people think, I think I can move the mouse and you can see it. But if not, between production and post-launch, people think is where the marketing starts, and that is a mistake. Like, it's never too late to start, if of course, because of we have to consider budget, time, people, we have to consider. So it's better to have the marketing start if your game is going coming out in a month. However, if you're in the luck of being at the very first of, this journey about making your game, you have to know that the marketing research starts at pre-production. Even before the game is starting to get done, you have to already start thinking about how you're going to market it. So I know what you're thinking. You're an indie game developer, or you work with indie game developers, and they ask you, "Do you have a marketing plan?" And you're like, "Yes. Yesterday I made a tweet about my product, and that's my marketing plan." And yeah, marketing can go a long ways. There's so many ways your game can go out there. You can have the luck of putting it out there and a YouTuber or a TikToker or a streamer picking it up and it goes viral. You can have the luck of putting your game, and 2 years later, a pandemic comes. I hope I can say that, and it goes viral like Among Us did. If you didn't know, Among Us came out on 2018, and it was until there was a situation where everyone has to be locked in that everyone picked up the game. So there's so many games that have that situation that maybe they don't pick up when they come out, and after something happens or someone finds it or the situation changes, something completely different can happen. However, that consists a lot of luck, and when you're making a game and putting so much time and effort and money into it, you want to put less push on luck as you can, in the sense of, if it happens, cool, but we have to work to have all the eggs in different baskets if the luck doesn't happen. And yeah, so that's why I'm here for. So, like I said, the first step, market research. So number one, there's something called the market opportunity. And in this aspect, in the whole market research, basically, you work with the indie game developer, and you are the marketer, or you don't have anyone working in marketing, you're just an indie dev solo, and you want to do it yourself, you have to ask yourself some questions even before the game is starting to get done. How big is the market for your title? Like the game you have in mind, how big it is? How many people will play your game? So I'm going to go step by step. For now, I'm going to just give you like a regular of everything. The second step will be target users and platforms. Where is my public? In which consoles do they usually play games like mine? This is very important. I'm going to give you some examples. Number three, expectation, sorry, competition. What desires those people who play game like mine have? What are my expectations? Like how much I want to win, how much people will I consider a success if the game plays, all of that. What games will be my competition on release date? This is in the whole time and budget, and when will the game be ready? Don't worry, I'm going to go step by step, and we're going to also answer any questions you have next. So, yep, the number one, market opportunity. So, when you have a game, an idea for a game, is very exciting, and I can just imagine it's like, oh my god, it's such a good idea, people will love it. You have to actually go out there and see, is the idea of your game popular and unique in the gaming community? This can be tricky because, as you can see, popular and unique are the contrary. So you can see, like, I want a live simulation game, a cozy game that's super popular right now, and with the whole thing that happened a couple of years back super popular, but then it's like, okay, if it's unique, because the more popular it is, it means naturally the more competition that there is. So you have to keep that in mind and have a balance. And if you're going to just put all your eggs in one basket and be like, I'm going to something super popular, or I'm going for something super unique, no one has seen it, you have to see the pros and the cons of that, because they will be pros and cons. And also, something super important, don't look only at the hits, but recent game and failures. This one can be hard, but it's very easy to compare to games that did very well, and it's actually good to do so. Like, you want to start your game and it's okay, I'm going to go see this super cool game, fun game. I'm going to see how their market was, how the marketing, what did they post on TikTok, what did they post on Twitter, when did they start marketing stuff, which ones they went, how many units they sold, all of that. It's amazing. And it's actually something I'm going to talk about that you have to do. However, there's something called postmortems, and just straight up looking at the facts and seeing if some recent games had failures. It's really good to see and check why, so you can make sure or try the most that you can that your game doesn't go through that. If that makes sense. So, yep. Target users and platforms. With target users, I'm going to talk about two different targets. So, bear with me. First of all, you have to consider when you have here your game, what age is your game going to be aimed at? That's very important, not only to know exactly what type of content to put, also to know about the ESRB rating. That's something super important to know. Um, an example I'm going to give for Orten was the case. There's the game that they show you a moment ago. There's like a very mild shade of non-friendly substances, but very mild. And just for putting in it, the whole ESRB, sorry if I'm spelling this wrong, had to change completely. And it could be like change the whole age rating for just this. So as you as a game developer, you have to see if it's worth it to push the rating up and very specific, or if you like, well, okay, I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to change the name, the color of this plant that I'm not going to specify, and you're going to have a whole different type of people who are going to play your game in that sense. So that's something very important to do if we're talking about games. Also, uh, what type of people are going to be playing, if your game is going to be popular more with boys or girls, the young people, the teenagers, with adults. And this is some information, I got it, of how many units have been sold per console. So you can see the bigger one in this little Pika Blue thing that I made that I did here. Nintendo Switch is a really popular option. So you have to keep in mind is that you want to make a game about a shooter. You want to do a shooter. There are games on Nintendo Switch that are shooters, but we all know that those games usually go with Xbox. Maybe PlayStation and Steam. Steam is also there, but you have to keep in mind that if you are expecting sales on Nintendo Switch, you have to consider what type of game are you selling. You know, another example I have for this, for Lonesome Village. Naturally, it's a game about a cozy adventure. You're a coyote, super cute, and it's a puzzle solving adventure with social sim. This game screams Animal Crossing and Zelda. So, of course, the platform that was more popular on was Nintendo Switch. And another platform it came is Steam and Xbox. And naturally, on Xbox was like the least one, because everyone normally plays types of games on the Nintendo Switch. So you see what I'm trying to see here. Look at your game. You have it here, like I have it in my palm, and be like, in which console you will be like the shine the brightest. It can be in many of them. If you can put in all of them, the better. But you have to keep that in consideration. This is the other type of target users and platforms that I'm talking about, especially if you are like more in the marketing world here, is who is going to be your main target public in social media. This is a whole different world, a whole different universe, because by my experience, I have made the same video, the same TikTok, beautiful video here, and I have put it, I don't know, on Instagram and it had like 60 views, and I put it on TikTok and it had 4 million views. And it's the same exact content. What's the difference? The type of people who is using the platform and what they're looking for. So that's a whole different story. Here's an example. Normally, here I'm going to put something clear. I still call Twitter Twitter. I know it's called X, but I still like I saw a report that people still call Twitter Twitter, and so I just kept the logo there, and we're just going to pretend it's called Twitter for a moment, so we don't keep like confusions here. But as you can see, game devs and the whole marketing world right now, for the moment, because we know Twitter is like changing so much that people are like thinking about leaving. Well, it's on Twitter. But on TikTok, it's like a very nice place to use if you want to show your game, like making these. If you have a cozy game, like TikTok is your place. Is and Instagram Reels too. You can put like some nice music, some showing your game, before and after, and even if your game is not cozy, still like something funny, something like, hey, this is my game, I'm going to show you 30 seconds of content. It's amazing. You can have the same content, modify it for every platform, and it's a whole different story. So that's something very, very important. So in which places is my type of game popular? For this one, I'm going to use an example that is really funny. Super Adventure Hand is, as you can see, is one game that I just showed. It's a game where you're a hand and you're basically trying to get your arm back from a bunch of feet. That's the plot of the game. Amazing. 10 out of 10. Surprise, surprise, not. We found out that the game was the most popular in Japan. I personally didn't expect this. I expected more to be on the USA and all of that. The game is Swedish. No, it was Japan. People were more interested in Japan about the game, and I think it's because they are more used to this type of weird stuff, and it's great. It's really good to know that because of this, we reach out to indie world of Japan, and we were like, hey, will you like help us with a retweet or something? And they say yeah. And if we didn't go into the back end of Steam and look where is our game popular, or in the Nintendo Switch, go and look where is our game getting their wish list on, we wouldn't know that and wouldn't have like a good idea where my game is going to be popular. This is also very important when you are doing localization. After we knew this game was very popular there, of course, there had to be a Japanese. This is like an example. You have to know where your game is popular so you can have a localization. Also, to not lose money and maybe put an language of a game that in that country nobody's playing that game, and like, you know what I mean. It's very important to know where is your public, both in the consoles, social media, and in the world. Very important. So competition. Oh, this one is like very close to home. I really like to talk about this. So this is Orten was the case. Like I said, this is from Oscar. He's amazing. He was the lead animator of It Takes Two. He's making this game by himself, coming out this year, we believe. And when I arrived to Bright Gambit, I had the task of you're going to research similar type of games, and you're going to see how they market their games, and also look at their postmortems. So after talking to him, and after, it's very important, something a little like bracket here, it's very important communication with the developers. Very important. Like, if you work in the marketing world, um, it's very important that you are hand in hand with the developers. You need to know what do they want, what are they expecting, and you have to tell them what can you do for them. And that means you have to play the game, you have to actually like believe in the game, you have to put your soul and tears and everything on the game. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but in my sense, you have to know the game to know how to sell it. It's basic information, but sometimes people don't know it, so I want to make it very clear. You have to know the game. If you're not a solo dev that is marketing their game alone, you're actually going to work for someone else. Know their game. If you try to even know more about the game than the developer, it's not possible, but try almost. So I needed to know which games were similar to Orton. And we figured out we had like a full on list of games that were similar, maybe on the time loop mechanic, the art style, everything. But Outer Wilds was the game that was the closest to Orton. Why? Because they're both time loop theme. If you don't know what is Orton was the case about, is basically you are a teenager who wakes up and after a certain amount of time the world explodes and you go back and you try to revert it and you make missions and you gain information. Your way to progress in this game is information. If that's This sounds very similar to Majora's Mask and Outer Wilds. So these were like the two games we looked more in the most when marketing. It's also an action adventure, open world mystery game. And yeah, that's some of the reasons that I had. So something very interesting. I had to go into the Steam reviews to see what people liked, but also what people didn't like. This is also very important because, as you can see, I'm going to give some examples. Again, we're talking about a time loop game, which means everything you do gets erased. So there are many things there that you have to make sure as a developer that are fixed because people are not going to like that because it's not the usual way to play a game. So here's an example. People really liked about Outer Wilds that is it's better if you know the less about it. That's something that they all said is like don't know anything about this game. It's better to go blind. That didn't help us a lot, but I still wanted to put it there because it's like, okay, mystery. People really like mystery and being surprised. Okay, the game doesn't hold your hand at all. People really like this freedom, this I can do whatever they want. They love that. The art style, the music, the environment, the story, the tiny details. Basically, the world building was why people liked Outer Wilds. We have to write that down. And very existential and beautiful according to players. Okay, this is very hard to accomplish, but now we have at least a compass of where to go. What people didn't like, though, and this is super important, especially if the developer, this is what I said, that is very important to start when the game is all in the making, because this is important to know if you can still make changes in the game. People didn't like that the experience relies a lot on not getting spoiled beforehand. So I don't know the ending of Outer Wilds yet. I got very far. Don't say it in the comments. But apparently, if you get spoiled, it ruins the experience. So it's okay. So that also tells us that the ending has to be like it has to be mind blowing. Okay, repetitive. You reset to the beginning of the game after that. This is this is common sense, but of course there's people who don't like this, don't like the whole like, oh my god, I died, I have to go up again and again. This is not actually the game's fault. This is just a type of game. That's why a lot of people don't like Majora's Mask. That's why a lot of people don't like Outer Wilds because of this. However, something a developer can do to fix this is to make sure the game doesn't glitch and cause you like a unfair death. Because if it's already frustrating for a player to die because of a bug, a glitch, something that was not polished. Imagine if you die and you have to start all over again. Players right now have a lot of games to play, a lot of options. If they get too frustrated, sorry, um, they're just going to quit and go to another game that doesn't cause them those frustrations. So we have to keep that in mind. Like as here's another one. Some users have very stressful experience with the controls, so make sure the controls are as polished as possible. And a little slow for some players, they felt lost. Again, little things here and that, but if something you can make sure your game has fixed and doesn't have those problems, it's really good to go with the developer and feel like, hey, make sure you don't have these problems with your game because people left a bad review on Steam because of it. So it's very important. So, number three, expectations. This one is very important too. Realistically, you have to ask yourself how many games do you plan to sell approximately to be considered a success? So, if this is your first time selling a game or is your first time working in video games as someone who does marketing, you will have to ask somebody. You'll have to look around and see how many copies not only a super successful game made, but like a normal medium game made, because if not, you're going to get very disappointed. You have to go and see, hey, what is the minimum of copies I should sell so I re- recuperate all my money back. I make profit of, and I have a successful career. You have to keep that in mind. What's the minimum of wish list on each platform? So if you don't know, indie devs normally count how good their game is doing with wish lists. So it's very stressful to not know exactly how many people will actually buy your game. But a good idea, you can get yourself a good idea of how many in theory with wish lists. So what devs do is they try the best that their wish list go up the most that they can. So before you put your game out there, the demo, the early access, all of that, you have to keep in mind how many wish lists I need to be like, okay, this is working. Okay. And if it's not working, what do we change? Why are the wish lists not moving? And how much money will you expect to make? Something that I already said. How many do you need for recoup? How many do you need for it to be profitable? And how do you need to be like, this was success? So, time and budget. Number four. How much time do you have to market your game? This is very important because something that I have learned in the good way and in the bad way is that while marketing a game, normally seems that you have more time than you actually have. And this is because um, platforms, especially like Nintendo, Xbox, Steam, some are more um, serious than the others. They really like to know everything about your game if they're going to support you beforehand. And by beforehand, I mean at least 1 month early. So if you want your game to be posted on the official YouTube channel of Nintendo or Xbox or whatever, you have to reach out to them way earlier. So you have to keep that in mind, that while you're making your marketing plan, you have to consider all the timelines. You have to also consider something that it hurts me in my soul, but I have to also consider that sometimes things are not going to go exactly as planned, and the timeline will be moved. It will have to move somehow. So that's a little bit annoying, but you have to make sure there's a little spots there where you can put some stuff and all of that. What is the budget for the marketing strategies? That's very important to know. The earlier, the better. If you're not a developer, you talk to the developer. Okay, how much do you plan to spend on marketing? What do you want? Do you want press? Do you want for me to reach out to YouTubers, streamers, TikTokers? Because now TikTokers do reviews and actually they help a lot. Um, we need to have all of that in consideration because all of these people also have their schedules and they also really like to know things beforehand. So, yeah, time and money, very important. How much it will cost with the duration? Of course, with the money, how much we will use it in how many months of the planning of the game and the release of the game. And do you plan to reach out, like I said, to all of these people? Yeah, it's very important to check that out so you don't run out of money. So, number two, not getting feedback during production. This is the second mistake, okay? So, how to help the team and the game with focus testing, round play testing, both internal or external. For this example, I specifically put it in my shoes if I was someone who works in marketing and game, and the developer cannot do it themselves, and they ask me to help them run a marketing campaign and a focus testing. So what are the goals? With this, basically, I mean going around showing the game to some people. It can be with a platform or at an event. This is all the stuff that I'm talking about. People play testing your game and showing the results to the developer. That. So, identifying areas of frustration. That's my worst enemy of a word, apparently. Frustration. Yeah, you have to identify those areas. What does that mean? When a player is, well, playing the game, you have to see in which parts they seem to start to get annoyed. With this, I mean, if they are playing against a boss, or they don't know where they are going, or a puzzle they cannot solve, you have to identify that part because Some people will get over it and be like, okay, I got it. But some people will be like, oh, this is too hard, moving on. So you have to tell the developer that it's very important to catch that. And with this, look for opportunities. How, with this problem, we can change it to another type of gameplay, or we can change the puzzle. How can we make this frustration something more fun? Create recommendations for the design team. With this is, like I said at the beginning of the presentation, don't just go with problems, but also offer solutions. Be like, okay, we saw the players get really frustrated with this level of the game. However, what do you think if we change it to something like this? Or we make the tutorial a little bit easier, or we put an example, or maybe, trying to keep some options is also really well and very important. That's what I said about knowing the game you're marketing. Because if you don't know the game that you're marketing, you're not going to know how to answer any of these questions. And leave some open questions to the testers can be genuine. Like, um, after they finish playing the game, you can ask them, okay, what do you like? What you didn't like? What was your favorite part? If you make very specific questions, they're going to give you very specific answers. And sometimes you want that, but sometimes you don't. So keep that in mind. And yeah, how the feedback works. Know what questions to ask. You will have to work with the developer before the playtesting starts to know which questions you're going to ask. Also, make unbiased questions. Don't try to lead the people who is playing the game into a corner. Like, but do you really like the design of this character that I took 5 months making? Try to make unbiased questions. It's very important. And also make insights. You're going to have a lot of information after a playtesting, so try to make insights for the developer or the people on your marketing team to know easier. Because yeah, a 27 document things about this is what all the people like and they didn't is going to be a pain to read. And yeah, try to make life easier, because that's what marketing is about, making life easier, or pretending that it's easier. So mistake number 3, not searching marketing opportunities a platform provides. This is very, very complicated one, because it doesn't depend completely on you. It depends also in other people, platforms. But each platform, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, well, Nintendo, Steam, Epic, they all have their ways to promote an indie game. And it's very important to seek those opportunities, because they can make or break your game. And it's very hard to get them. However, is if you get them, is it can change everything. So it's very important to get them. So Xbox has the ID at Xbox Spotlight program, article posts, the YouTube ID Xbox, Boots ID Xbox showcases, as you can see in the picture, and official streams where people can play your game. So this is an article I made when I was working for Ogre Pixel for Lonesome Village. I asked how could I promote the game more, and they told me that for the launch of the game, they could launch in their official website an article of 5 things you should know. As you can see, I love to number things and do 5 things you should know or know. Yeah, that's me. So I made an article so people who went into the Xbox website could see the game and maybe get interested and buy the game. I was also part of the Xbox Live official live, where basically I was playing the game and answering some questions when the game went live. As you can see there, I was dying of stress, but I think I nailed it. Yeah. Events are so important. I cannot express this enough. It can be very stressing, uh, but this one was super exciting because we were part of this showcase of Xbox, and we were at this here Lonesome Village, as you can see, from Mexico, and we were seconds apart my one of my favorite games, which is Hollow Knight Silksong. So it was surreal to see a game that I worked on next to a game that nobody knows when it's coming out, but it's very exciting that we were in the same place. So yep. Nintendo, of course, we all know indie world. Super hard to get in the world. However, if you manage to get it, you're golden. Nintendo also has Nintendo Power Podcast, trailers on their official YouTube channel, and the eShop. They have like promotions on the eShop. So you have to look into that. So yeah, there's like some pictures about the offers that they usually have. And down there is a trailer we made that we managed to get them on the official Nintendo of America YouTube channel, and it got 300K views. So that was pretty amazing. Yeah. And Steam, we all know Steam, our beautiful Steam. It has sales the whole day, the whole time. They always have sales that are also very crazy. So it's very important to try to be on these sales. People get excited. People are going to see your game more if they happens to be on the dashboard. There's also an event called Steam Next Fest. In my experience, Steam Next Fest is wonderful for wishlist. So if you can get yourself to be part of the Steam Next Fest, don't miss the date. Very important. You can only participate once a year. Keep that in mind. And yeah, this is an example of Ian playing his game Super Adventure Hand on this year's Steam Next Fest. And yeah, there were some people watching and very exciting. So, number 4 mistake you can be making: not allocating time to building relations and partnerships. So, this is a whole different world. Basically, there are so many devs out there who can not only motivate you to make a better game and to market your game, but also you can actually interact with them, and that's amazing. So with AK Sholot, it's a game that actually just came out. Funny enough, they had an axolot, this little pink creature, and in Lonzo Village we had a scene, an axolot too. So we were like, hey, what if we make a collab, a small collab about a drawing when we're both celebrating that they had the Kickstarter. And we did that. So both accounts posted each other. We gave each other a shout out. And it was very cool. It was very wholesome. It's a way to cross promote each other free, in a sense that it's like free, and it's very cool. Here in Mexico, if you don't know, Los Village is Mexican. So in November we have Dia de Muertos, and in Dia de Muertos you have these things called calaveritas, which are like poems, very weird, funny poems that talk about death. And a lot of Mexican studios decided to make a calaverita about some other studio. So we have like a raffle, and we will get a name, like a Secret Santa, but about death. And like each studio will talk about the other studio, like something funny, super cute. And that was a really cute way to do cross promotion. So interact with other devs. Yeah, okay. If you don't know who these characters were, is the little lamb for Cult of the Lamb. They did a collab with Don't Starve, that is one of my favorite games. And it was pretty amazing because they managed to get each other's characters in their games. And of course, this is something very hard to do, very pricey to do. But they managed to do it. And at the end of the day, they are both indie games. So it's amazing with a lot of budget what you can manage to do. But that's something you can do. Seeing devs interact with other devs in such a funny and silly way, it's adorable. Like in Valentine's Day, I saw they should give a raise to whoever is behind the Cult of the Lamb account. They make me laugh so much. So they were interacting with the Among Us account and like showing their Valentines and asking each other out. And that's something very hilarious, and people like it. And it's amazing to do cross promotion. It's cheap this way, and yeah, you should really try it. It creates community. Other thing here is influencers. As I can mention, when you have marketing, you have to look into a budget and see how much you want to spend on the marketing and all of that. So with Lonesome Village again, we reach out to some TikTokers that they talk about cozy indie games, and there's like down there, if you can see, there's like how many views they got, how many likes. YouTubers that they do reviews, you have to send them the game beforehand. All of that is very important. If it blows up, it's amazing. So something to keep in mind. And networking. So I basically went around. Yeah, that's me. Below there with my little West plushie and my glasses with a YouTuber very famous here in Mexico. I went to an event because our game was there. It was a showcase. So I just went around with the little plushie of West of Lonesome Village, straight up giving like little pictures of him and on the game and a QR code and be like, hey, do you want to come to our booth and play the game? And you can take a picture and all of that. It's really cute. It's really fun. It's really a way, like an Aussie way to market a game. However, it was really fun. And that's all. It's really cool to do that. Like Gamescom is a really good place to do that. Or 10 was the case was just at Gamescom. And not only it increased on wish list, but also seeing with your own eyes people playing the game, reacting in front of you the game, and it's a complete different experience being on presence. So that's something to keep in mind. If you can go to these events, Gamescom, GDC, all of that, they're ones that are like cheaper than the others because there are some that are like okay, a little too pricey. And you have the opportunity to share your game. Please do, because it does help in the marketing, it does help on the wish list, but also it gives you a little bit more in the sense of user experience and making community. And that's something that maybe you cannot put a price tag on it, but is really important. And the number five mistake, the fifth mistake you can do while marketing your game is post without a plan or a purpose. So this is a little quote here. There needs to be an intention and a plan, at least in the short term, to turn your followers and people reacting to your game into wish lists or customers. I basically quote myself here. I once said that on an interview and I was like, yes, I liked it. So basically, remember the meme I made about did you made a how are you marketing your game? And yes, yesterday I tweeted something about my game. It's very important to have an intention when posting about your game. Very important. So, what this I mean is when you're posting anything related about your game, you have to check into the do's and don'ts, in my experience. Make a plan, at least in the short terms, to turn your followers and people reacting to your game into wish lists or customers. This is very hard, but also you have to keep in mind that at the end of the day, you want social media presence, so that social media presence actually gets to buy your game and they become players. So keep that in mind. And also put yourself in the shoes of the player. What would you like to see on social media? You have to get creative here. Like with Lonesome Village, we made like some cute animations. With Super Adventure Hand, God, I had a blast with Super Adventure Hand. We have the little hand doing like these dances. The Wednesday dance, do you know it? The one from last year. The oh dance dance. Yeah, we made an animation about the little hand dancing to that song. Very fun. Opportunity that we couldn't skip. So all of that stuff, some that you will see and be like, okay, that's funny. That's smart. You have to do that. And what you shouldn't do, maybe I have done it in the past, maybe I didn't. Spamming your game everywhere is very tempting to do it, especially when it's like wishlist Wednesday or trailer Tuesday, like putting your game in all of the threads. Yeah, and try to not do it because people can get annoyed and it's not a very good way to promote your game. And another thing you shouldn't do, in my opinion, is to post random stuff at random hours with low quality and low substance. Yeah, it's really cool if you want to show something fun about your game. If you cannot make it at 2 a.m. when nobody's going to see it, awesome. So these are some examples that I love. Story of Seasons, which was Harvest Moon in the past. They just wanted to post, hey, happy day of pancakes, and remember to eat at least 10 pancakes to increase your chance to turn into an actual pancake. Something cute, something funny. They also re-released their game that came in GameCube to Nintendo Switch, so they showed before and after. Kill Mondays, they showed Frambo, an amazing game. It's a very spooky game, so all their tweets are about like poetry, like as the screen cut to the glass and the shattered pieces fell to the ground, the tragic destiny of two weakened twin sisters was revealed before her eyes. It's very creative. For me, I will use less hashtags, but hey, it's working for them. And yeah, very important. Um, have game assets, go get your game assets, like play your game and get little like parts of the game recorded, some illustrations, clips, make a devlog. You can in Steam you can have like little updates like, hey, I added this new thing to the game, la la la. And original content, people love to see that. People want originality, especially on social media that everything goes so fast. So yep. And some tips: build a community is super hard, but hey, if you can manage to build a community that is passionate about your game, you have made it. An attractive landing page, I'm going to give you an example of that. And good content, quality over quantity. It's better to have good content that have content every day that is like, here's a small example that I have, that I did. I didn't actually post this one, I just wanted to make the example. I posted, if you have played Orton Was the Case, who is your favorite character? This is good. You're trying to engage a conversation. However, it's way better if you do it like this. Hey, it's Throwback Thursday. Use the hashtag. Have you already met Siggy, Shaiko, Mekonnen, and Elia? They are characters of the game Orton Was the Case that will be part of the Steam Next Fest. They just released the demo, so go play it now. As you can see there, we have the hashtag of Steam Next Fest, so people that go into the hashtag are going to see that the game is also there. You also announce that the game has a demo and you put the link there so people can go to the Steam page. And not only that, but you put actually name to your characters and show their pictures, because some people will be like, I don't know about your game, I don't know their characters, I don't know their names. So the more visual, the better. You know? It's amazing. And like last for this example, this is how the page for Super Adventure Ham looked before we did some touches. It looked good. It had like some fun gifs. It had the landing page, all of that. How about we put a little bit of spice in it? So we had a live stream playing. We changed the screenshots. We changed everything. I made this little animation of the hand walking, and I went around and looked for these amazing gifs of the playing. Yes, the little animations, all of that. As you can see, there's a lot of going on. We changed the text, the description, and at the end, a little illustration that takes you to the Discord. It looks better. It looks flashier, yes, but it looks nicer with some updates about the game. It makes you want to play the game more. So, yep. So, basically, we finished. So, what do we learn? Do your market research before the game is going to come out. Do it way earlier, way earlier. You play testing more than once. Look for opportunities on your platform. Build relationships with other devs, other people everywhere, and create original content. Keep them engaged, keep them excited about your game. And that will be it. Thank you so much. And like I said, I'm not going to call Twitter X. So yeah, Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter as Bright Gambit and me as SKHBird. And this is also the website of Bright Gambit. If you have a game that is in need of funding, support, and all of that, you can go there to Bright Gambit page, brightgambit.com, and send your game so we can check it out. And yeah, that will be it. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Let's get a side by side. All right, so we do actually have quite a lot of questions for you.
Oh God.
So for everybody who's watching, whatever we do not get to, we will be in the Discord afterwards, and Sarah will be able to go over anything that we haven't been able to cover. But let's go ahead and get to the first one.
Okay.
All right, from the Discords, considering the current issues and controversies surrounding Twitter/X, should our team continue to focus on that platform, or should we explore other platforms as alternatives for our marketing efforts?
Okay, that's a really good one. I'm going to tell you what we are doing and the decision we took. We are still on Twitter X. However, we are moving, and we're moving fast. Since the Twitter, like the things started to change, we were like, okay, we are going to open an Instagram. We are going to we open a Blue Sky. Apparently, they say Blue Sky is a platform that is very similar to Twitter. So a Mastodon, LinkedIn, uh, basically that's the answer. Is that what all of these teached us? Remember the day that they said that Twitter was going to go down the day that Elon Musk arrived, and it sounds stupid now, but it was very scary because they said that they were going to plug in Twitter that night, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, I have my whole account here and my whole game here. What I'm going to do?" And everyone started to freak out and go to Tumblr. Yeah, that teaches us that we have to have more eggs in different baskets. So, my recommendation will be keep being on Twitter until you can, because apparently they're saying they're going to charge for everything. I don't know if that's true, but keep looking for other platforms. Start building your platform somewhere else, like TikTok. There's a lot. TikTok, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Instagram. There's a lot of options. So that will be my recommendations. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't.
Twitter is just a hot mess right now.
Yeah.
Such a hot mess. All right, let's go to our next one. This is from the Discord as well. Do you have any tips or strategies to increase our chances of going viral with our games marketing, or is it mostly a matter of random luck?
I mean, there's something called luck, and there's something. Have you heard the Hunger Games? May the odds be in your favor, and actually you can put your odds in your favor. Yes, there's some randomness when going viral, of course, and some luck. However, you can make the most of it to make your chances go higher. And with this is, if there's a trend, if there's a trending sound, a a trend, something that is going viral, use it. Use it. An example we made with the whole Wednesday the thing hand. That thing was going viral. Everyone was doing the little dance, so we were like, we have to do something with it. It didn't go as viral as we expected it to go. However, with other things, we learned like more dumb. I don't know. An example. There's a viral audio that went around that it was "Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious." We did that with a 10-second clip of Super Adventure Hand, of the hand covering itself with a feet to disguise himself from other feet. You have to play to understand the game. Okay, we used this trending audio. It got 4.5 million views. And if we had used another audio, it probably wouldn't have happened. So that's my response is yes, sometimes it's going to be just pure chance. However, you can make your odds in your favor and go around saying what's viral, what's popular, and try to do something with your game that makes it more possible for you to get viral.
You heard it here, folks. Anything Parks and Rec will help you out. All right, so this is a two-part question. So this is from VCD Gamer on YouTube. Do you have any tips for people marketing game heavily reliant on story?
On story.
I'm asking this because I learned that it's good to be consistent with your post, but I want to learn to do that while avoiding revealing everything about my game.
Ooh, okay. That one depends. Yeah, when you're depends. When we're talking about story, and like I said, Outer Wilds, that people literally said like the best part about this game is that nobody knows about this game, and I was like, what does that mean? How do you market mystery? So what I will do in that position is to hype the concept that your game is about story, and your game is about mystery, and your game is about like the payoff is not only the gameplay and the fun, but the story is the payoff. So you will have to find a way to put your game out there without spoiling it, but like making players understand that there's something so big, so amazing that it can get spoiled. So you have to play to figure it out. So I will play my card on mystery. Like my whole game. I don't know if your game is about mystery, but that's what I will do. Like if my game is about narrative and story, I will make sure my people who follow me knows that the story is the most exciting thing. It basically like a book in an interactive form. So that's the thing, the card that I will post about.
So we spoke about him earlier, and he has now arrived, and he just wants nothing but cuddles. This is my cat. All
Oh,
right, let's here say hi.
hi.
All right, let's go ahead and do our next question. All right, this one is from our Discord. We're a small game studio without much marketing know how. Can you give us simple ideas to get better at marketing and stay excited about making our game more popular?
Okay. I'm going to tell you right now that I can totally get the whole can you tell us something to keep us excited, because it's super heartbreaking when you make something that is like super fun and super cool and it gets like 4 likes. It's so saddening. It's like no. Or you make a TikTok and it's like this is going to get viral and it gets 200 views and it's uh like the cheapest in the sense like the is you're a small studio and you cannot go around and asking YouTubers to play your game or do these big things. Right now we are so lucky to have social media and to have yeah, to have trends, to have viral music, to have so many things of entertaining. I cannot even think how we will work at the game nowadays if we didn't have social media. Like thank God I was born 10 years later, because yeah, that will be like my advice in my opinion. Do something that you like something funny that you like, that you laughed. This little an example that I did. This this horror movie came out that is called Talk to Me, that is about a hand, whatever, and a song got very popular that is called Le Monde, that is dun 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 dun, dun like that. I love the song, so I wanted to make a trend went viral to say that my life is red, and they show like videos you took of yourself in red. My life is blue. My life is green. I decided to take that and make it my own and be like, my game, like the game and marketing, is green. My game is red. My game is blue, and it's showing parts of the game that are blue, are green, are red, and it came out so nicely. It got 10K views. It was fine, but I loved it. Like I watched it, and I'm so proud of how satisfying it went. So just do some stuff that is fun for you, and is nice to see, and people eventually will find it and will like it and will stay.
If you're not having fun with it, it turns into like the biggest chore.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to do it.
yeah.
All
Have
right.
fun with it.
Yeah. So we have another one from our Discord. Any tips on how to navigate negative comments without being triggered?
Ooh, that's very tricky. This is tricky. Depends who. It depends. It depends. If you're the developer, is way different. If you're the marketing person, like the developer is going to feel it more personal. Um, by experience, and this is not only because me in marketing, just me because I also do YouTube videos and all of that. Don't delete comments unless they're like very offensive that you're like, okay, this is just has to go. Don't delete comments that are just saying plain stuff, like bad stuff. Just leave them there. Straight up ignore them. And if they have constructive criticism, they say, hey, I didn't like this, I don't like that. Straight up turn it into an opportunity. Go and be like, oh, I'm very sorry about this. What could would have done to make this better? Or like if it was something that plain was a mistake, you did something, you posted whatever, just plain go say sorry, be genuine. This is an example. If you get canceled, I guess, you post something that maybe there was some, just say sorry, just say sorry. I have seen so many bad apology videos out there. Just straight up, don't take it personal. I'm a person who has to say a lot about that because I take everything so personal, but I learned to not take personal. Just brush it off, shake it off. Don't go defensive. And yeah, just it makes you grow. And that's it. Don't go their level. Don't get aggressive.
Don't feed
Yeah,
the trolls. Just don't feed the
yeah,
trolls.
yeah.
All right. I think we have time for maybe one more. So let's go ahead and get this one. This is Sebvez on YouTube. As a member of a two-person team who is responsible for all art and music in the game, but also has to promote by necessity, do you have suggestions on how to remain effective but efficient?
Oh god, Ooh, that's a thing that if you happen to know, tell me because we all know the answer, but we don't like it. It's organization. It's organization, and straight up, if you cannot make it, you have to get someone else, someone to help you out. It's I feel this an answer a lot of people kind of know, but there are moments where you feel that you can do everything, and I have learned it the hard way. You feel that you can do everything yourself, but sometimes you have to understand that maybe you can do everything yourself, but it's not going to be done in the best way possible. So you have to have priorities. So if you are very invested with something you are doing, or it's super important you do it well, maybe it will be good to have someone help you out. Maybe someone that wants to learn about video games, an intern, someone you can pay half time. I want to recommend AI because I have seen a lot of people being like, I'm just getting AI. And I understand that maybe for small studios is good, but I really don't want to go that way. That's a personal opinion. Just try to give people opportunities, and if you can, straight up try to make the task a little bit smaller. That's what I will do.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much, Sarah, for all of your wonderful insight. For everybody, I still see questions coming in. I'm
I
going to
just
go
saw a
ahead.
comment.
I'm going to go ahead and put them in our Discord. If you belong to our Discord, please jump in there. Sarah said that she is going to be here after the panel to answer everything. So next up, we have Tatiana of Fuzzy Bot Games with her talk on the decisions it takes to run a successful game studio. So we will see you guys there. Thank you again so much, Sarah.
Bye, thank you for having
Bye.
me. Bye.